it is Wes with Pikes Peak Trades, and it has been a while since I've given you guys a comprehensive video update, and I think it's time here right at the start of quarter four in 2023. We've got a lot of skepticism out there. We've got a lot of interesting things going on, from wars and rumors of wars, questions about the economy, inflation. What exactly is 2024 going to look like from a political scenario? And I think it's time that I give you my view and continue to show what I've been tracking here since late 2022, almost exactly a year ago, when I think this bear market bottomed and we moved up substantially. And at the end of last year, I said, get ready. This market is going to be moving up. And we've done that. Now, it hasn't been without some speed bumps. And we just went through a pretty tough one here from really the end of July all the way through the early part of this month. And I think we're through it. I think we're ready for seasonality to kick in with the rest of this initial leg up off this bear market low. So again, you can choose to take a different side here. You can choose to side with the bearish view that all that's happened in 2023 has just been a bearish bounce, and we're going to be moving back severely to undercutting lows. You can take the negative sentiment out there and the high put call ratio, and everything else right now is stacked, I think, creating a wall of worry that this market is ready to climb. And that's my primary view. And I want to take you there now. So let's get into here my bigger picture, the SPX quarterly. And I've been tracking since 2009, the start of a super cycle 5 wave, and taking us through the COVID correction cycles 1 and 2. I have us just in the early stages of primary 3 of super cycle 3 of that, cycle 3 of that last super cycle 5. And I'm projecting out into the early 2030s that this bull market is going to keep going. And if we look at some of the technicals here, we are not far from a bull cross here on the quarterly MACD. And if I take you back into the last time that we had a significant pullback that got that MACD into a bear cross position where we cross back above, we're looking at early 2011 here. And that's exactly where I think we are moving into, finishing up a first move up off a significant low. My anticipation is that the rest of this quarter will produce that MACD cross, but then at some point early in 2024, early to mid 2024, I think we get a substantial pullback. And I think parts, maybe even much of 2024, are going to be market sour. And so that's what I'm looking at, finishing this first intermediate move up into a pullback within primary 3. But then I'm projecting, let's say from the end of 2024, really throughout the rest of this decade, that we are going to be in a swinging bull. And this is a move you do not want to miss. Was it worth your while to be overly bearish here in the early to mid part of 2011? There were some scary things, right? There was a credit rating shock. There was a government shutdown. Haven't we just recently been through some of that? But then look, what then happened right here in the heart of primary 3 of cycle 1, and that is what I'm projecting is going to happen from mid to late 2024 onwards, maybe into 2026, 27, and then to finish out this cycle 3. So you look here on the high time frames, there is nothing that is breaking down bearishly. Okay, now what could change my view? Well, if we don't get good seasonality that follows through, and we see what would be bucking a historical trend here in the third year of this presidential cycle, if we see the S&P fall substantially back below this 8 quarterly EMA, and we see 4,100 break, and that's going to put in a follow-through red quarterly candle from what just ended in September, then that would change my market view. And I start taking you into some more details here. And we look here at the monthly chart. And the monthly chart, we can see an RSI above 50. We can see here a monthly MACD bull cross into a testing move that I have here as a minor 4. I'll show you a couple variations of that on the SPX weekly. But so far, all of these EMAs, just like on the quarterly, they're all bull stacked. And we have so far through, about halfway through October here, we have this trading above the 8 monthly EMA. And so my projection is that we move up strongly to finish this year, to finish this intermediate 1 move of primary 3. And then you can see, I think this bull channel just continues to extend all the way up into these higher levels. Okay, now we keep drilling down here, and that's going to be kind of the theme. I'm not going to take you through a ton of individual names. Just want to give you a broader market update with some key things that I'm following here. And we have an interesting weekly candle. Okay, so bears here are saying, well, this is a shooting star candle. It actually does qualify because we have the body here that's less than 50% of the rest of this upper wick. But I would take you back into some similar places that I think match market structure. And that's going to take you back here into early March, where we had a Zweig breadth thrust. It's possible we could get another one by the close of trading on Tuesday, although not required for bull market continuation here. And then take you into this interesting candle right in here, where I think bears were saying the same thing. And then what happened that next week? What happened that next week as we kicked off right there into the middle of March, the end of March, a strong move up. And that's what I'm projecting here as we move up. Now, you're going to see a couple differences in labeling, whether this is a minor 3 top into a minor 4. I think that's the most likely view, but I'm going to leave in the possibility that maybe we need more divergence that gets set over a long period of time before this wave 1. And we're just really going to have to wait and see. Now, this thesis, what does it simply require? All it simply requires is that price breaks the yearly high. So we see price back above SPX 4607, and then everything needed for a first 5 waves up is then in place, and then we could be looking for what is probably going to be a fairly painful intermediate degree 2 correction to be happening. And the timeline for that, again, is speculative on my part. Whether we get there at the end of 2023 or into early 2024, we're just going to have to wait and see. But I am expecting that we get what could be a rather furious rally up into finish this part of the wave count. Okay, now I had mentioned to you on the quarterly chart, what would change my view? Simply if we don't get that. If we collapse from here, and the marker is essentially a wave 4 that trades into the price of what I'm marking as the minor 1, and that would be at 4,100. So we see weakness to close this year, going against our typical strong end of year seasonality, and we lose SPX 4,100, and then I think that's probably going to cause that primary view to change to a bear leg down, a 3 up. And then once that overlap comes in, the probability of bullish resolution reduces, and then we're very likely looking at undercutting lows. But taking the evidence as it is right now on the quarterly, on the monthly, looking even here on the weekly, I do not see that imminent. Now, a couple bad weeks here to finish October and then through Thanksgiving, and that could change, but we have to wait and see and let that actually play out. Okay, let's get into something else here. This is the Qs. We look at the Qs weekly, and I think we are just building a beautiful bullish cup into that proposed new high that could set all of that first wave up, and then we're going to get it's likely going to be multi-month handle pullback into that wave 2. So I think 2024 is going to greet us with some uncertainty. It's going to be a contentious election year. I mean, we've already seen world events out there that have just really been tragic and terrible. And I think that probably continues through a lot of 2024. It's not going to be easy. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to hitch my cart to the bullish wagon. Let's create a lot of opportunities from the long side into year end. And then it's time to protect capital, both mental and physical capital into 2024. But then after that, what I'm projecting, and you've seen it on my long-term charts, the best dip buying opportunity of the rest of this decade. Okay, now we can drill down into some smaller time frames, and I'll show you a little bit more detail here. So I've been sharing this out here, my SPX daily chart. Here's the details, and I like this alternation of a minor 1 into expanded flat, minor 2 into just a drawn out simple zigzag ABC on divergence down here on the RSI, holding this bull channel. And then I think what's transpired over the last couple of weeks is that low, an impulsive up, and down into a higher low wave 2. A little bit of an inverse head and shoulder pattern setting up. Now, whether or not this is done on Friday's trading, we're just going to have to wait and see. Notice that it closed right on that 8 EMA, right above the 0.50 fib. So let me take you now here into the small time frames. I want to talk through some details. Okay, so I had initially thought here at the close of the week that we had a 1 high here, a 3 wave down, a 3 wave up, and then this flush right in here. I had thought that had finished this wave 2, and we didn't get it. We had this bounce. We were ready at advantage for the pullback on Friday, and I thought we would hold a fib zone in here, and then we would move back up, and that just kept moving down. So that has to change what you're looking at from a correction standpoint. That simply moves the higher high here, a higher high of the week, into the wave 1, and now an ABC down. And are we done? That's now the question. Did we finish a 5 waves down into this with a 1-2 start? And that's my primary look. So my primary look is at the start of the week is that we do hold this Friday low and that we move strongly up, and then we're kicking off here into a wave that you want to be a part of. If I'm wrong, it's a very simple adjustment. There's no certainty in what I do. It's all about probability, projection, monitoring, adjusting, and if you need to, you put in an alternate count that we need to undercut a low here. It's certainly possible down into an A, B, C into finish, a potential demand zone here, right at that level, below 4,300. And so, yeah, we got to be on guard for that early in the week. But we're going to notice that this pullback can go all the way back here simply to the early October lows and still be valid. So if it happens, yeah, we're not going to, hang our heads and wring our hands about this. What is going to be the alert is if we lose that August low. For now, I think a very healthy pullback that I think we need to be ready. And if you're on board with me in Advantage, we are going to be ready to buy this aggressively. Let's take a look at the daily onto the Qs. I'll show you just a little bit more, and then I'm not going to take any more of your precious weekend time here. On the Qs, you're going to see the same count. Now, whether this 3 goes here and this 4 goes here, like you saw in the Q weekly, that's yet to be seen. Either way, regardless, I have us moving up into a 1, down into a 2. Now, it's possible that's actually a small degree 4. Again, project, monitor, adjust. That's our theme here. We'll see that on the small time frames. If this is actually a bullish 0.5 fib, we've got some big tech names stacking up and ready to report. We've got Tesla Wednesday. We've got Netflix Wednesday. You look into the week after that, and then we start seeing those big names start to stack up to report, where we've got Meta, and we've got Amazon, we've got Microsoft, Google, and Apple stacking up. And my projection is that we see positive movement, and I think that could be the catalyst here. I don't require news events for anything that I do. My personal view is that the waves are set up and ready preceding these news, into what could be just an amazing set of weeks trading coming up. Some of the best money that I have made over the years, going back about 6-7 years now since I started actively trading off of my Elliott Wave work. Some of my best stretches have been the October to early December timeframe, and I'm looking for that to rhyme again here. So we get you into the smaller time frame look here on the Qs. And I'll show you one view of this, that this is a wave 4. Now, we trade into the price high of wave 1. We lose 363 here, and I think we are looking at that 1-2. But regardless, either way, I'm looking at a buying opportunity in this area for us to then move up strongly into earnings season here in quarter 4. Okay, now, I'm not going to take you through a lot of individual names. If you want details and charts of individual names, you come join us at Pikes Peak Trades Advantage. What a bargain for your money, a monthly or annual membership, and you can get all the charts that you can eat and you can ask for in that group. I do want to show here, I want to talk a little bit about DIA and XLF because these are the ones here that from an Elliott Wave perspective, I think are very interesting. I'm projecting on DIA that we already put in that wave 1. And then we're looking at an expanding leading diagonal here to finish a new price high and then a minor 2. So a different degree pullback against it. And each ETF index individual stock marches to its own Elliott Wave drum, so to speak. And so this is an interesting look. It is going to require, for my bullish thesis, we've got to see industrials and financials get right back in line. And we had some good bank reports, some good initial reactions to that. And then we had a different news thing come in, a consumer sentiment report that pulled us back Friday. But my projection is that industrials and financials are going to get back in gear. Now, I take you into the daily and I'll show you here that alternate view. That alternate view that would account for a 3 waves up move here in 2023 would be that we do actually need to undercut these September, October lows. And that would be here and an expanded or running flat, 3 down into 3 up, and then a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down. Okay, so I'm not going to be completely blindly bullish, even in the immediate part of it. But then I do think whether that undercuts this low here, it could be either a running flat, which would be extremely bullish. I still think the movement up and off of that is going to be bought. So we'll keep that as an alternate, but in the short term, I'm looking at the possibility, just like SPXQQQ, of a 1-2. So we've got that here into a 0.50 fib. And this one did not undercut. There was a little bit of relative strength here in both DIA. And I want to leave this possibility that we get a surprising relative strength outperforming move since we did not get that undercutting low here to end the week. Take you through a very similar look in XLF, where we've got an expanding leading diagonal up here. We held 2 weeks in a row that key 200-week SMA. We got some good reports from Citi, from JPM, from Wells Fargo. And are we ready to really see financials move up strongly? That's my primary view. So here on the daily, back into here, a little bit different chart picture. What I think is that expanding leading diagonal into some gap fill areas here into the end of our year, a possible 1-2 count. Look at that wide ranging doji right there on Friday. And that just indicates a little bit of indecision, but man, did financials want to run before the rest of the market pulled back? Absolutely did. And so I'm going to be showing that here as a 1-2. So here is our pullback and a 1-2. And that projection is that we move strongly up and off of that going into year end. Okay, now, like I said, all the other details that you might want, you come join us at Pikes Peak Trades Advantage. We have a wonderful wonderful trading community. I actively and continuously update charts, give trade ideas and trade signals, and we've really had quite an amazing last set, a few weeks. Looking for a lot more. Come join us. You've got the details here in this video. Let me wrap it up by just getting you back here to some of those higher time frames, and let's get back into here. And so we can take a look at what I'm looking for into the weeks, the months, and the years to come. And why not choose to be optimistic? Why not choose to bet on this count against that wall of worry out there? You can choose to take the other position. It's not my choice. My choice is that I do not for the world want to miss an opportunity that I think is out there for much of the rest of this decade, even into the early part of the 2030s, where you could set yourself up here. And I think we've even got an active opportunity here into the end of this quarter. So happy to give you this update. As always, like and follow and subscribe. You can get some other details out there on Twitter, but the majority, the meat of what I do is found within the Pikes Peak Trades Discord. You can join the public group, but get on board at Advantage and get on board for what I think is going to be an exciting ride here to finish 2023. Have a great weekend. Take care, everybody. Wish you all the best. This is Wes from Pikes Peak Trade signing out. Bye-bye for now.